This week we're helping a young couple who both work from home create some separation between work and home life.
It's been kind of a struggle.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help. Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about. This house is the new home and office for Brian and Rachel Ledbetter.
We're both from Mobile. We were away for several years, but thankfully we were just able to move back home. We have a 2-year-old daughter, Maggie, and we're just happy to be here. When we saw this house and we liked it and we saw that it had some potential to be the house for us, we jumped on it.
We've only been in the house about 6 months now, and we love it. The space overall is great for us. The location is ideal. We see ourselves, making this our home for the rest of our lives. But part of that, is making it our own as well. And this house had mostly what we needed, but not really the space to have 2 offices since we're both working from home now. But I think one of the more important things is getting a dedicated office space for Rachel that functions for her. And right now she has the office space in our bedroom, but without a wall and a door to separate that cleanly, it's been kind of a struggle.
Well, it's a lot of room right in here. When I saw the pictures, I didn't think it was quite this large.
Yeah, it's a pretty good space. Been thinking about some different options for how we can really separate this from our bedroom. We have 2 dogs. They spend almost the entire day in our bedroom. The problem is anytime somebody is cutting their grass, anytime there's a delivery, anytime there's any kind of noise disturbance, they start barking. I think we'd really like to just put a nice wall up here to really define this space.
You think that's feasible?
I would think so. Oh, we missed the window. That's good. I just knew it was going to hit the window.
One.
Is this for the whole room? Oh, it's just for that. Usually when you're trying to adapt an existing floor plan, you run into all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But this space had lights perfectly spaced.
Yeah.
You've got natural light with the window.
Right.
It seems like the wall's going to line up, and even the plugs and the outlets aren't in the way. Huh. I've never seen one quite this easy.
Yeah, and then once the wall's in place, the margins of the windows are going to be perfectly symmetrical.
At least it looks that way.
Looks that way.
We'll see what happens. We're not used to that.
Easy job.
Yeah. What about a door? What kind of door did you have in mind?
Really, I think we'd really like something that we can close to keep Maggie from being able to come in, something that can really keep her out of my workspace.
Okay.
I also struggle with my storage because it's open to the bedroom, so Maggie comes in there and starts grabbing everything. I have office supplies, I have boxes of pictures and embroidery needles and all sorts of things that need to be out of a little one's reach.
Is there anything inside the room that you want to jazz up? I'm seeing a big blank wall that I'm itching to do something to.
Yeah, it'd be great if we could have something just to give it a little personality back there, because I do have a lot of video calls with that blank wall directly behind me.
Oh, we need a
fancy.
beach scene. We need some
beach.
beach and palm trees growing up here.
But then it makes it look like she's doing work calls on vacation.
It'll make everybody on the Zoom call jealous. With a little branches sticking out like that, maybe a bucket of sand. Maybe she could put her feet in the sand.
Yeah, there you go. That would really sell it.
Well, this could really go together pretty easily and be done in such a way no one would ever know it wasn't original to the house.
That sounds great.
That's always the goal with a renovation. But before the work can begin, we have to clear out the space. There's really not that much to move in here. We should be able to get this pretty easy. Come on, Maggie, help out.
Is this a picture of Maggie? I can certainly relate to having to do things with one hand or having a child attached to your leg.
Okay, I got my part.
Is that the light end?
Yeah, he got the cushion. No, what's wrong, sweetie? It's all gone.
See how I gave you the heavy side real quick?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Slick.
It's an art, man.
Yeah.
This door is binding in the opening, and the reason is that the hinge screws have become loose. If you look at this, you notice it's completely stripped. There's no way to tighten that up. So what I'm going to do is remove it and fix it by filling that hole. Just get some cable ties, sometimes they're called zip ties. You just take one and snip off the end. The shaft of it has ridges, and you need those ridges for the screw to bite into. So you snip off the end, which doesn't have any. You're gonna take it and set it in the hole. You wanna push it in until it just about bottoms out, right about there. And then we're gonna snip it off and slip it in there. There you go. Press that all the way in. Perfect. What that little piece of cable tie does is it not only fills the hole, but it gives the screw something to bite into. I can feel there's a lot of resistance on it already. You just crank it down. There you go. Nice and tight.
Simple Solutions is brought to you by Tight Bond, the pro's advantage.
After the break,
Oh no, that's the wrong corner. Let me see what we're gonna do here.
Brian gets a scare. We're helping Brian and Rachel create a proper home office, and it's time to build the wall.
So Brian, we need to figure out exactly where that wall is going. And you know, a lot of times on molding like this, we will just take up as much as we need, put the wall in and tie it back in. But I'd like to try something a little different in laying out exactly where the wall is. So the wall's 3.5. Then you got 1/2-inch drywall on each side. So we can cut the molding 4.5 and just cut a gap out of there.
What's the advantage here of cutting the molding instead of just removing it and repiecing it together?
Well, a lot of times when you're taking it down, it's
Yeah.
caulked top and bottom.
Yeah.
Even though you score it, it can pull a little bit off the wall,
Yeah.
a little bit off the ceiling. Then there's more painting involved.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you pull it down, it just doesn't quite go back like it was before.
I think anything we can do to minimize the work on the front end and back end is a great
That's
idea.
exactly my spirit as well.
You just have to measure just right.
Just right, yeah. That's my job with my special tape measure.
The oscillating saw seems to be the perfect tool for this job.
Especially with a nice brand new sharp
Of
blade.
course.
But you still have to make it nice and square, because when that drywall goes in there, you don't want any gap. I know you like to rely on caulk, not me. I'm gonna let you tear up your own wall. So
Okay.
the corner bead's a metal piece that runs about 1 inch this way, inch this way. It'll have a lot of nails in it, maybe. Sometimes they crimp them. That's what we want, because it'll make it easier. So just bang along right there, and then
Okay.
we'll be able to pull it out of there.
Got it.
Oh no, that's the wrong corner. Let me see what we're gonna do here. No, I'm kidding. That was real funny. Wasn't
Yeah, it was great.
it? Okay, look. No nails. So what they did is they used this little corner crimper, and see how it little crimp things in there. So that means it should come out very easily.
Dad, I know we removed corner bead before from outside corners of drywall, but it looks flat. Why do we need to remove it?
Well, so many times the drywall compound has built up that corner a little bit, so removing it and getting drywall to drywall ensures that you get a better wall.
Okay, nice and flat. My plan is to create some functional storage in this office, but also create a focal feature on the wall opposite the door, so when you walk in, it's something that's cute, beautiful, and functional. All right, so the bookshelves that I want to do to the left of your desk, I want to make them more of an accent than just
Okay.
functional storage. So I was thinking divide it into thirds and do kind of a stair step or a step down look.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to give me a lot of functionality and free up some space.
That's the goal.
Well, we really want to make sure that we're securing that bottom plate, because you're going to have doors slamming, you can have, people bumping up against the wall, and you can't take the chance of the bottom of that wall moving at all.
Just a visual of like the wall swinging.
Yeah, you don't want-
No, let's secure it.
Secure it.
Have you used a nail gun before?
It's been a while.
Okay, well, you get to now.
Yeah, it's like being behind a shotgun. Anytime you're holding someone else's, tools, they're not your own, there's just a certain amount of unfamiliarity there. It takes a little adjustment period. Having the right tool really makes a difference.
Okay, we're gonna step up to advanced nailing now.
Okay.
You're gonna have to nail it at an angle. You know, shooting a nail at an angle is what we call toenailing.
Is that enough angle? Too much?
It's just about right there.
Okay.
Toenailing a nail isn't the easiest skill.
Well, especially when you have the little safety mechanism on the end of the pneumatic gun. You have to have that lined up just right. And if you're not angled just right, it'll shoot through the other side, won't do anything. Might even shoot you in the leg. Or your toe. Or your toenail. Or your toenail.
Toenail to toenail. Oh.
Once we install the header over the doorway, we're ready to hang drywall.
You know, one of the biggest complaints you always hear from people about drywall, it's so heavy. So this Gold Bond Light by National Gypsum certainly makes it a lot easier. 25% lighter, that'll make a big difference if you're hanging drywall all day long.
I know, I love when you take traditional products and make them even better and easier to use.
You know, most people don't really think about putting insulation in inside walls because insulation is really designed to make your home more energy efficient. So you think about putting it on the outside walls, but it's also great soundproofing, especially this mineral wool insulation. Rachel will really appreciate that.
Ceiling fans are a great addition to your room, and I'll tell you, over the years, they just seem to get smarter and smarter. And this one by Hampton Bay is no less. This is the Fanelli Smart Indoor Color Changing Ceiling Fan. Now, this is pretty awesome because it's very easy to install. But the nice thing about it is the LED lights are dimmable and they are also tunable. What do I mean by that? Well, just by the touch of a remote control, you can control whether the lighting on the LED light turns a little warmer with a little more of a yellow tone, or you can make it cool with a little more of a bluer tone. Another thing that makes this so smart is when you download the HubSpace app on your phone, you can control all of that with your phone, or you can actually connect then to your Alexa or Hey Google, and then all you gotta say is, Hey Alexa, turn off the ceiling fan. So you don't even have to move from your bed or your couch. How smart is that?
This Best New Product segment is brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Coming up,
What?
Chelsea has a little conflict. This week, we're helping a young couple who both work from home create some separation between work and home life.
It's been kind of a struggle.
The wall separating Rachel's home office from the bedroom is up, so I'm bringing in John from my construction company to finish the drywall while Chelsea and Rachel work on the bookshelves out in the garage.
Before I nail my shelf boards in place, I'm applying some Titebond Original wood glue because it dries super fast, so it'll be dry and solid before I move this unit inside. I'm just gonna build it half in here and half in place. Push it against the wood and pull the trigger shortly after.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey, how's it going out here?
Almost ready for your muscles.
Okay.
All right, y'all are gonna have to handle it because I have a baby on the way, so no heavy lifting for me.
So you're telling everybody about the baby news now, huh?
Yeah, it's getting kind of hard to hide.
Well, I'm looking forward to having another carpenter on the crew.
Me too.
Maybe a painter.
Maybe a
Yeah, we
painter.
need a painter.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Family painter.
Yeah.
All right.
So one thing I did want to ask, we already bought some paint, some like gray paint,
Okay.
because we want to redo
The house.
the whole entire house,
Okay.
honestly.
Brian's throwing me a little bit of a curveball by saying he wants to change the wall color in the new office room.
Would it be okay if I go ahead, I mean, if I do these two walls tonight and then get the trim?
But when you're planning to go ahead and repaint your whole house, it makes sense to do it one room at a time and knock out this room while you're already painting the walls. I'll go ahead and mark where my bookshelves are going to line up so that he can paint the wall color above it and white to match the bookshelves below it.
But early the next morning, when we start to install the unit, we discover a problem.
What? I thought I had all the things figured out until we moved the bookshelf into place and the outlet is in the way. Oh, I was making sure it was in the middle of the vertical dividers. There's really only one option here, and that is to move the outlet up to have it clear the shelf.
Bring the shelf board up.
No, the outlet.
That's the hardest possible thing that you can choose. Can we just bump that shelf up?
I mean, they're all perfectly spaced. Messed up my entire design. Everything's symmetrical and even.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an awkward moment when they were disagreeing about what to do with the outlet.
It's the designer that kind of threw a wrench in it.
Yeah.
I was going to be happy with whatever solution they agreed on.
Might have to pull the hormonal pregnant lady card to get it to go in my favor.
Looks like we're about to do a little electrical work.
Mm-hmm.
We could have moved the shelf, or we can move the outlet, which requires a lot of intelligence and electrical work and danger. You'll understand what just happened when Maggie gets a little older.
I think I already do.
So glad you're here with all your muscles and your big brain.
I knew where we were headed with it.
So I cut a new hole for the outlet, turn off the power, and disconnect the outlet so that I can move the wire into the new box and connect it to the outlet there. Then John patches the hole from the old outlet box as well as one from an unneeded phone jack. Then we can install the shelves before we move on to the door unit. You see, this is we'll call it split jamb or sandwich jamb. So it actually splits apart right there.
You know I love food references, so I think we should call this a sandwich jam.
Sandwich jam works fine, but the split jam like that does allow you to adjust it to the thickness of the wall, and you can really get that door right where it needs to be.
There's nothing more frustrating than having a door that you use every day that doesn't work and doesn't swing well.
And this is why it's so important right now while we're installing this unit to get it right and to make sure those margins are just right, in addition to using the level to make sure that it's nice and plumb.
Putting in the door in really gave it that sense of, hey, this is a separate room with its own door that you can shut. So really awesome.
Pretty slick, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I love a good accent wall, and having this blank wall behind Rachel on her Zoom calls is screaming for some texture, a good accent, and I think wallpaper is just the man for this job.
I'm a little intimidated to do this.
Well, then I won't tell you it's my first time. Rachel and I are using pre-pasted wallpaper, which means it already has adhesive on the back of it. We just need to activate it, so we're using a paint roller and rolling water on it to activate that glue before we adhere it to the wall. My biggest frustration with hanging this particular wallpaper is that we have a pattern that we need to match up or it's going to look off, but it's looking really cool, so I'm okay with a little bit of frustration.
Rachel's home office had plenty of space, but it had very little privacy and almost no separation from the bedroom. Aside from those issues, it was functional enough, it was just very plain. But now, it's a whole different space. The wall and the doorway have created the privacy and separation Rachel and Brian needed. And because of the way we built it and the materials we used, it looks like it was built that way from the start. The built-in bookshelves offer plenty of storage and add a cool look to the most prominent wall in the space. And that brick pattern wallpaper is sure to make Rachel's Zoom calls a lot more interesting. Plus, we did it all for about $800 in materials.
It's great. It's so much better than it was.
Yeah, we love it. I had this idea in my mind of what it was going to look like. It looks even better than what I imagined. And I think being able to close the door and get some work done for a change will be good for her.
From the bedroom side, the new wall looks very intentional. You can't tell that it hasn't always been there. Everything looks very balanced and like it's how it should have been.
If I hadn't seen it before, I wouldn't know that, we actually made any changes there because it fits right in. It's just a more functional space on both sides of the wall now.
You know, this was really a unique project. Over the years, I've built a lot of home offices in attic spaces, garages, and a lot of other areas, but this floor plan was so conducive to converting this space to a home office. And no matter what they use it for in the future, whether it remains a home office or becomes a nursery or maybe a hobby room, it'll look like it was part of the original construction. And that is the best compliment you can get when you do a renovation project. Hey, thanks so much for being with Chelsea and me here on today's Homeowner. Come see us next week.
Toenailing a nail isn't the easiest thing to do.
Well, I'll tell you something else that's not easy.
Sorry, let me-
Is as you get older, trimming your toenails is a lot harder.
I can second that.
Well, I knew how serious it was when you ran off and pouted. You know that always gets me.
Well, I wasn't pouting, but I was just I was just staying nice, trying to be nice. So I needed to just walk away and then
Well,
come back.
I thought you were going to get a weapon, so that's why I changed my mind real quick. You know what you're doing?
No, do you know what you're gonna say? Is it gonna be awkward?
I don't have a clue what's going on right now.
Oh.